Hey, LinkedIn, YouTube, good afternoon, good evening, and possibly good morning. I am super excited to talk to you guys today. Man, I haven't been kind of solo on these lives for a minute, so had to do a little switch up, but I'm super excited to talk to you guys at this time. I guess this is a special edition of the High Vibe Zone. So thank you for tuning in. If you are watching, let me know your name, where you're coming from, what you're grateful for. Let's kick it off that way. Again, it is me solo today. And I think it's a interesting, we're going to have an interesting time together. It's been a while since it's just been you and I. So super excited for you to join me in the High Vibe Zone. Again, I am Sharice Fonts, and I am here talking about all different types of topics here in the High Vibe Zone. Last week we had Andrea and Matt Kazam and talking about the N-word, which was amazing discussion. If you have not watched that LinkedIn Live, you definitely have to watch it. I think it's not just LinkedIn Live now, it's on YouTube. So I have to speak to both audiences. Anyway, if you've not watched that episode, it is great. It is good. I think one of the core things and we were going to talk about this even further, is using the word minority. And I even used the example of my beautiful baby boy, baby Mikey, and he came in, and I didn't do this directly to him, but I was like, imagine me just like, hey, little minority. So great conversation. You guys got to check it out. So anyway, if you are listening right now in the High Vibe Zone, send me a comment. Let me know that you are here. Let me know that you are listening, even if it's an emoji. I love emojis. If you haven't seen, most of my comments and stuff have a lot of emojis in them. So send me an emoji. Let me know that you're listening, watching. Welcome to the High Vibe Zone. We are going to get started with, as usual, our encouraging card of the day. I have them here. They are always spot on. And while I just kind of warm us up, I'm just going to talk a little bit about today. My heart, first of all, is going out to everyone in Texas right now. A couple people from the tribe are in Texas. So I'm just sending you guys light and love, and just wishing you safety and abundance and provisions for what you need right now. I can just only imagine. And so just sending a lot of light and love to our folks in Texas, and also shout out to the tribe. Hey, tribe, hey. It's definitely like, I've never heard of it snowing like this or any kind of thing like that. So again, just shout out to Texas and sending light and love to all the folks out there. So let's see what word we get. And if someone is watching, just let me know you're watching. I haven't gotten any comments yet, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. Our encouraging word, just so you guys see, I don't know if you can see, but I do not check them. I just inspirationally pull them. Here it is. Oh, we've already done this one. Do you guys mind if I change it? Everything counts, which is true. Everything does count, but I don't think I want to do that one again. Maybe I should take out the ones that we've already done, but then it wouldn't really be like spontaneous. But I guess I don't feel like doing that one. All right, we got a new one. We've done this one too. I guess I'm not great at shuffling. All right, we're going to 3 times the charm. I don't want to talk about ones that we've already done, because I feel like there's one out there that we haven't done that would really feel a lot better. Okay, maybe this one. We've done this one too. Okay, so I'm just gonna choose a different one. Here we go. Is this one? I guess we'll do this one. I just pulled this one. It says, follow your dreams, they know the way. I think some of the conversation that I'm going to have today with you guys about living in faith and speaking your truth really does have to do with your dreams. I think that as I feel like dreams are very interesting because they break the paradigms and the doubts that we have. Like when you think about dreaming, there is endless possibilities in your dream. And why should it be any different when we wake up? Right. And I just think that there's a correlation. We must have faith. And I think that's what slays the doubt and really makes it to where we can accomplish the things that we were put here to accomplish. And so, with that being said, following your dreams does not mean that you come out of this dream and create a bunch of doubt and impossibility. Like, everything is possible. And I was mentioning to someone today that we have not lived long enough as humans to use the word impossible. We just haven't. So I just encourage you right now, if you're watching this, not by coincidence, following your dreams are key. And hey, Jordan. Hey, girl. Hey. Oh my gosh, you are so awesome. If you guys do not know Jordan, she is so amazing, so much light. Thank you so much for tuning into the High Vibe Zone today. But yes, you guys got to follow this person. She is amazing with the work that she does. It's just so transformational. I think, Jordan, you're going to be on next month. So definitely excited for March. But staying here in the present, again, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my journey. And I remember coming up with the understanding of living my faith and speaking my truth when I was pregnant with my 5th baby. I went to Bali solo and went through just a lot of different experiences, learned how to let go. The kettlebell of mom I felt was weighted on me. And I just released a lot of that, which really helped me be a better mother. And I remember going through the birth experience, and little bit in the beginning was at the hospital, and it just didn't feel right. So I moved everything to home birth, and I learned to live in faith and speak my truth. And at one point, I think it was around 33 weeks, the midwife was like, your baby's breached. And not that you can't have a baby, delivered breech, but it's not the ideal for a home birth. In my case, it was not the ideal for a home birth. It's a little bit more painful, and it's a little bit different. So I had faith that not to go back to pathology, but to really trust and believe. And my midwife had said something that was really nice. She had said that sometimes the babies will go breech if you're dealing with certain things and you need to speak them out. And in fact, I was dealing with something with my husband, and I shared with him and spoke it out. And so that, I believe, really established like living my faith and speaking my truth. And little did I know back in 2018 that would be something that I needed for something I'm going to talk about with you guys today, which is a year ago tomorrow. And I have the video up on LinkedIn. A year ago tomorrow, I quit a job that I was making the most I was ever making in my career. I had the highest title I ever had in my career. And for me, it was like what I was aiming towards. All of these jobs and different things that I was doing, I was aiming towards this because I really believed that with the title, with the resources, I could make a difference in the workplace. And while I did make some difference, it really did take a toll on me. And like I said in the description, I mean, I just think back, I was looking back on some text messages. Karen Fleshman, shout out to you, because you were one of the first people that I texted actually when I had my experience in the workplace with the previous employer. And I was broken. I was still nursing. So my milk supply had gone. I remember going to a doctor, and the doctor was like, we need to get you some support. Here's a prescription. And for me, it was so jarring because I'm this person that meditates and I trust and I believe, and I don't allow a lot of things get to me. But I also realized that the circumstances, I was still very much in a postpartum window when I joined the culture, and I was experiencing microaggression and toxicity in the workplace, and it was things like I would get left off meetings and we're not going to do this because it was just very toxic. And it wasn't just me that felt it. It was the entire culture. And I kind of knew going into it, but I was like, hey, I'm going to help the culture. And it really did take a toll on me. So this time last year, I went in and resigned, and it was really challenging for me. And I share this story because I know that there are people out there that are trying to decide if they should stay out of an environment. So just stay with me here, because I went in and resigned. And I remember the night before, I was like looking up how to resign. And at this point, I had come off medical leave. I think I was either on medical leave or coming off medical leave. And I remember going in and again, Googling, like, how do you resign? And it was like, have, 6 to 9 months worth of savings and, have another job lined up. And I had none of that. I told my husband, I was like, maybe we got 1 or 2 months to go. Like, I don't know. It was a really difficult thing for me. And just so you guys know a little bit of my backstory is I used to be homeless with my kids. And that was, I say in the video, like, not having any fear. I think the fear kicked in before and after, but not going into the resignation. But I will tell you, that was a reality. I was like, oh my gosh, am I going to go back to being homeless because of this decision? And I remember my mom, shout out to my mama, because she's been on my lives before. And I remember going to my mom and telling her, what am I going to do? And she's like, Sharice, God is protecting you for something. And I went in, did my resignation, made the video. I'll link it so you guys can watch it. And 2 weeks later, the whole nation shut down. Matter of fact, the whole country shut down because of the pandemic. And, so job seeking was out of the question. We survived. We survived. Financially, like, I was like, all right, we're going to have to do our beans and rice phase. Because I remember at one point when I first started Culture Circle, which is going to be an interesting story. When I first started Culture Circle, I had no idea what I was doing in terms of business. So I call it my beans and rice phase. But, a lot of stuff happened, and I got super sick after I quit that job. My husband was like, your body is detoxing from a negative environment. And I was just like, I don't want to hear any of it. I was broken. I was dealing with bitterness. And just so you guys know, bitterness is one of the worst things that you can bring on. And I felt like I had every right to be bitter. I felt that I was treated differently because of the skin tone that I had. I felt that because I spoke up, I was, shunned off and mistreated in the workplace. And I felt I was bitter. I was like, this hurts. This is not fair. This is not okay for them to treat me this way. And so I just think that I had to heal. I had to heal. And I went through a lot of process of healing. And I remember looking for jobs or starting the job search. And this was like March, April timeframe. And then it just didn't feel right. I was still holding on to bitterness. My energy was off. Just everything was like bitter. And I was still dealing with just residue from that company, from that. And it was like when you see, bitterness is like when you see somebody's name come up and you're just like, oh, I don't like that person. And you just kind of feel this. It's like, it doesn't feel good. And in fact, it's something I think I did a podcast actually on bitterness. It's bitter or better, but not both. So anyway, fast forward, May hits, and I decide that I need some serious self-care. Like, I recovered from being sick, and my kids were all home, and I have five little humans. And so they were all home, and I was like, I just need to focus on self-care. So I took May as my month of self-care. I wasn't on LinkedIn. I didn't look for any jobs. I just like stayed at home, hung out, did nothing really. Just started to heal from what was going on. I said, okay, at some point I need to heal from this. And so I took that month of May to heal. And what happened next was so interesting. And I want to walk you guys through this. And again, if you guys are listening out there, just give me a drop in the comments, give me a shout out. Let me know that you are there and listening and here with me. And even if you're not and you're watching the replay, just let me know that you watched this. But so end of May, around that time frame, I believe it was when George Floyd had got killed. And so I don't watch the news. I get everything third party, and so I was getting a lot of text messages from friends and different people, and that's how I received the news. And very shortly after that following week, the first week of June, a bunch of companies started reaching out to me from previous relationships, from different relationships and connections, and wanted me to come into the company and talk about and hold space for conversation for their people. And I'm like, sure, I'll do it. And it started off as just like some basic conversations, and people would ask questions and I would answer them. And it was really just interesting to hear people's perspectives on what was going on in the world and what was happening. So I was like, maybe this is a good time to reintroduce this concept of culture, because what's happening on a cultural level, you have the macro culture and micro culture, and what's happening and that dichotomy needs to be addressed. And Culture Circle has always been this place where anthropology and humanity really helps create healthy and inclusive workplace culture. So I relaunched Humanity Power and with intention. So I've been, I was consulting here and there, but this was with intention. Like, I'm going to do this. And I even told my mom, I was like, Mom, I'm going to go for this. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to get in the RV that we're renovating, and I'm going to ask you for $500 a month, and we're just going to live on the land. And so that was like my plan B. And I'm like, fine, let me just see what's out there in terms of what I'm trying to express and what I know, my knowingness, my truth. And then it took off. Everything changed. Everything changed. I mean, I don't know. When I look back and watch this video of me after I resigned, which I didn't know if I was going to post, but I posted for a couple people because I was like, if I can do this, you can do this. And so I posted the video. But when I look back on it, I'm like, man, I knew, like, something in me knew that there was greatness going to come out of this situation, out of this pain, out of this process that I was going through. But I had no idea that it was going to be this. And what I mean by this is I'm working with some amazing, amazing companies on transforming their culture. Humanity Power was birthed out of everything that had happened. And I don't believe I would have been as receptive if I was still drowned with bitterness. I probably would have been like, you know what, this is what happened, and this is only what's going to happen, and I wouldn't be able to see the solution. So it was a really interesting journey, but I will tell you that it really started when I stepped out on my faith. And I think that's where most people tend to forget that faith plays a big part in your own personal legend. And the things that you want is you have to have some type of faith, because on a perfect day, we could not make perfection happen. And so when we have faith, it's just allowing, it's letting go. As a doula, I've talked to the women I helped birth, and it's like, you cannot birth from constriction. Like, that does not work. Physically, it does not work. You must birth from a flow state. Everything must be open. Thinksters, everything must be open, allowing for birth. Life is no different. You look at nature. Nature does not struggle to exist. It just does. It allows. And I posted up a quote. Our existence is predicated on 6 inches of topsoil and the fact that it rains. Like, there's simplicity in allowing, and faith allows you to do that. I've been under a grandmaster meditator, spiritual teacher for many, many, many years. She's amazing. And one thing she had told me, she's like, Sharice, you're very analytical. And this is true. I get it honest. I am analytical, and I do use that part to help. But being over analytical leads to anxiety. And so she was just saying, you're tone down the analytics a bit. And I'm like, what do I replace it with? And she said, acceptance. And I'm like, that feels right. That flow state is amazing. So I think that when people are trying to do something new, or if you're in a toxic environment, I'm telling you, there is something way better out there for you. The possibilities are definitely endless. I would start with your faith. And if you're not ready to step on faith, I would at least allow for yourself to speak your truth in these environments. And it's really important. And when companies ask people what they think and the people don't speak up, it's probably because there's an element of safety that's just not there. We won't speak out and speak up if we do not feel safe. It's the Finksters. It's the thing that I've talked about many, many times. And I think you can catch a little bit of it in some previous lives, but it's something that's really important. So my message to you, if you're trying to figure out life, if you're trying to navigate, if you want to know if there's something more, I'm telling you there is. Through me leaving that company, resigning, and going off on my own, I was not only able to create a company that is transforming the workplace, but I'm also leading humanity power, which is ending the isms that are harming our humanity. And this is a big, big thing because most people don't realize that people just didn't seem to agree on what racism was. And I'm like, wait, how are we going to solve racism if we don't even know what it means? And so I broke it down into what it meant. And I not only did that, but I gave a timeline of like, hey, when you are born, you are not born racist. I know. As a birth doula, I've seen enough babies to know that they do not come out racist. And so what is that trajectory? How do you get on that path? And so I talk about that in this workshop, and it solves racism. It really does. People might be like, oh yeah, ooga booga, it solves racism. No, it really solves racism. It gives you the answer to end not only racism, but these other isms. So if you're interested in that workshop, just check out my page. There's a link in there to sign up to register. And I'm doing these every quarter. So I'm hosting these workshops every quarter. It's a 3-part series. But How to Become a Racist was birthed out of me stepping out on faith and speaking my truth. And even now, like I battle with some of these conversations because I know that the most used words are what people are gravitating towards, but I don't believe that those are the right words that we should be using. Again, for minority, why would we wouldn't call somebody that we love a minority? We'd be like, hey there, minority, like, hey, little minority. Like, just think of like your kid or your niece or someone that you love. Would you just like nonchalantly call them that? Probably not. We should not be calling that or using that to describe people that deserve just as much love. And I know that it's the thing that, what other word do you use? But I believe minority and majority are for votes and not for humans. And so, changing the way that we use the words and how we use them, again, that's my truth to speak. And know that not everybody is going to vibe with that. But I wrote something down the other day and I was just reflecting on it. I'm like, I'm not going to wait until 85-year-old Cherise to stop worrying about what other people think about me. And, I'm just not going to wait. Like, why wait till 85 to find out that I could care less about, what people think about me, as long as I'm in my faith and in my truth. If I'm speaking my truth, which I know comes from a place of love and kindness, that doesn't mean I don't mess up every once in a while. Like, let's be very clear. I am human, just like the next person. But one of the core things around speaking your truth is being able to be tapped into your humanity and living your faith from a space that isn't a belief, right? Like, I don't need to believe at this point. Like, a belief is usually something that's gifted to you. And, your faith is something that is developed inside and comes out. So anyway, I'm just reflecting on this. I'm just reflecting on this week, and all of the connections that I've made and just all the humans that are part in my life. And I know that it would not have been possible had I not stepped out on faith, had I not spoken my truth, had I not been more than just my authentic self, I had not been my being, my who I am. And I have something. Where is it? I think I want to share it. I'm just gonna get up and go grab it real quick. Is that allowed? I don't know if there's like any kind of rules to this. Where is it? Oh, I don't know where it is. It's not close by. I'm gonna have to do it for next time. I like cleaned up in here, so I have no idea where it is. I wonder if it's over here. Oh, this is a good book, by the way. Leader Phrase book. If you have not gotten this book as someone that might struggle with words, definitely get this book. Maybe I'll talk about it on another live, but wanted to tell you the story, but I'm still learning the story. So I want to tell it verbatim. So I usually read from it, but I guess I'll find it later. It was not meant to be. And Tyler, yes, what people think of me is none of my business. It can't be. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for joining me in the High Vibe Zone. It can't be. You can't take that on. I don't know if I got any like Erykah Badu listeners or kind of 90s hip hop, but Erykah Badu has a beautiful song called Bag Lady. I highly recommend. It doesn't matter. You don't need to be a lady, or it doesn't matter what your gender is. You just listen to this song. It has so much wisdom. It talks about picking up the bags that other people give to you. And other people's opinions are their own bag. You do not need to pick that up. So I love what you said, Tyler. Yes, absolutely, 100%. And again, thank you so much for your comment and adding to this space. I will also say that, again, if you are trying to figure out what to do next, I just encourage you so much to just entertain the idea that what you want to do is so possible. You want to start a business, it's possible. You want to work at a company that sees you, your value, witnesses you, hears you, where you feel fulfilled at the end of the day. It's possible. I will tell you this, being in a toxic environment makes it toxic for everyone. So I had been in a few toxic environments and I'd bring that stuff home. And guess who felt it? My little humans. And my son had shared with me the other day, he was like, I didn't like being home. I didn't like being here because of the energy. It's so true. I did not have the best energy because I would take whatever was there and I would bring that home with me, and it affected my humans. So my little humans had to grow up with essentially my mess in their playground, which they should not have had to feel. And believe it or not, when you can't, it's not like you can just separate, because you are the whole person going in, you are the whole person coming out, and you are the whole person bringing those things home to whoever. So whether it's marriages, parenting, roommate, like people feel that. So, being in a healthy culture is so generationally healing. Being in a healthy culture is so generationally healing, because all the times that I just was not present, all the times that I was short with my kids, all the times that I took things out on them, they took that on as little beings. And they might think that that's the way that they should be treated and thus respond in that way, which is not true. That was my mess. That was the stuff that I was dealing with. And it's my responsibility as the guide on their humanity to not put myself in environments that are toxic. And I will also say, most of the times that I was in toxic environments, I was living in this mindset of survival and this understanding of daily awareness, which essentially, like, animals have daily awareness, and most humans live at the same capacity as animals. Daily awareness. It's survival mode. It's like, I'm going to eat as much as I can eat because I don't know when I'm going to get my next meal. And we operate the same way. And so that survival mode really just really harms our humanity. It really harms our ability to see something bigger and better. And I will say that once I got out of survival mode, I would say I'm in significance right now. Like I wake up and no matter what comes my way, negative, positive, I know that everything is always working out for me. And that's what I choose to own, and is my knowingness. And so I'm in significant mode where I want to do things of significance. I want to, not only for others, but for myself. And that process is very important. So we have three main levels in our humanity, or just as living, is survival, success, and significance. And what society tells us is we must stay within survival and we'll get a taste of success. But what we are ultimately looking for in our lives to be fulfilled is significance. And once we get significance, we ultimately switch. The next level to that is transcendence. We want to transcend past survival, success, and significance. And what we do has no ego. What we do, I talk about in Culture Circle, when I describe what we're doing, I say my tribe and I are the roots in the ground that is building the tree in which we will never experience the shade. I look at Culture Circle as creating this blueprint for healthy and inclusive workplace cultures. I want companies and people to thrive. I believe it is possible. I also want my kids to be able to go into a workplace and not have people ask, what are you, and treat them different because their tone looks different, or question their hair, or, I don't want any of that stuff to exist when they get older and go into the workplace, or be mistreated because a manager believes that showing your humanity is too vulnerable for them. And so, I believe that that's what we're doing at Culture Circle. And also Humanity Power will be those things, where the roots. And so my tribe and I are very intentional, but we go into it with again, flow state. All of that, to be said, would not have existed if I did not, again, live in my faith and speak my truth. I did not take that opportunity to leave an environment that did not serve me, despite it not being the most rational thing. It made no sense. You're going to leave. And to add more context, my husband is the stay-at-home dad, and he smokes barbecue. We didn't have, I'm the only income in this household. And so that was a whole nother thing we had to work through, because it was just different. It was just different, and it was challenging, but I can tell you, if I can make it through, you can make it through. So I just want to thank everyone for being a part of this high vibe zone, for supporting me along my journey. There's like so many facets of the story that I can share, but I will tell you that a year ago, I was not the same person. I was not, I don't think I would have been able to articulate these things that were going on, or be of service to anyone. I was way too bitter, way too broken, way too hurt, way too frustrated, way too stressed. And now I will tell you that I'm in a completely different space because of that step out. So if you are contemplating and thinking and asking for a sign, watching this live is your sign. Hearing my voice is your sign. And so I just want to thank you for spending time with me. And I just want to shout out, if you are passionate about humanity and culture and inclusion, let's connect on LinkedIn, right here on LinkedIn. Or if you're on YouTube, switch over to LinkedIn and connect, and follow Culture Circle and Humanity Power. We are putting out some amazing, amazing announcements. I don't know if I have it with me. I do. I'm just going to I'm not going to do the sneak peek yet. That is for next week. Oh my gosh. I am so excited for next week, because I'm going to have the tribe with me, and we are going to be talking about some amazing conversations around what Culture Circle does, what Humanity Power does, and what we are doing inside and outside of the workplace. And I have something, parents, You are going to want to listen in on this. There's going to be some giveaways, some amazing takeaways. And so next week, join me in the High Vibe Zone. This was a special edition. I had to shift some things around. But next week, next Wednesday, 9 a.m. PT, 12 Eastern, join me. Let's connect. Ask me questions. Happy to answer them live for you. But again, if you are questioning where you are right now, I'm telling you, there is something more drawing you. Go towards that. Go towards the light, essentially. Go towards the light, because that is where you are going to find your personal legend manifesting in so many beautiful ways. So with that being said, I'm not going to close this out with a word today. I'm going to switch things up, but I just want to say light, love, and gratitude for joining me here today in the High Vibe Zone, live or recorded, streaming on LinkedIn and YouTube. Thank you so much for your space. I am sending you light, love, and abundance for the rest of your week. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye, everyone. And then there's